Biomass refers to organic materials used as fuel, such as wood, crops, waste, and residues from animals and plants. It has gained popularity as a renewable energy source, particularly in the European Union, due to policies aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions. However, according to Nicole Rycroft, the executive director of the environmental nonprofit Canopy, the biomass industry is not as environmentally friendly as it claims to be. Clear-cutting forests for biomass production actually worsens two ecological crises: biodiversity loss and climate change. Mature forests can absorb significantly more carbon than young trees, and cutting down forests releases a large amount of carbon into the atmosphere. It can take decades or even centuries for the carbon loss from deforestation to be offset. In the United States, biomass producers are motivated to promote the idea of renewability because their customers, particularly wood pellet-fueled electric utilities in the European Union and the UK, receive substantial subsidies meant for green energy. However, data from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change shows that biomass fuel generates more carbon emissions than coal. The industry has experienced rapid growth, particularly in the American South, where there are numerous large-scale pellet plants that export millions of metric tons of biomass from southern forests annually. This growth is facilitated by the availability of private land and fewer regulations that govern land use. The concentration of these plants has significant environmental and biodiversity implications, as the American South is a hotspot for global biodiversity. The dominance of biomass logging in these areas has led to a decline in bird species, among other ecological concerns. The expansion of biomass also poses a threat to public health. Wood pellet plants produce toxic byproducts, and in 2017, 1 in 3 wood pellet plants in the United States violated the permitted limits for these toxins. Even when operating within legal limits, communities near these facilities have reported the need to wear masks outdoors. The location of wood pellet mills in low-income communities of color reflects a pattern of systemic oppression and environmental injustice. The distribution of industrial hazards in the South demonstrates this stark racial divide. This is not an accident. While Europe is beginning to recognize the unsustainability of its biomass policies, the United States may experience further industry growth due to recent climate legislation. It is crucial to prioritize genuine renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and geothermal instead of equating tree plantations to renewables without solid scientific backing. The Southern Environmental Law Center has been conducting extensive research on the impacts of biomass from the ground to the emissions, aiming to provide accessible information on its effects. As the U.S. government makes decisions on funding for climate action, it is essential to acknowledge that biomass is not a viable solution to climate change and avoid repeating the same mistakes made by the European Union by categorizing it as a renewable and carbon-neutral resource.